So far, we discussed why organizing your site is important. Now, let's see how we actually do that. Let's start by adding some categories to posts. To do that, you hover over Posts and then click Categories. If you click it, you'll land on a page where you can create categories. I have already added a lot of categories here, but there are still a few more left to add. I still need to create a category for Australia and New Zealand. So let's start by writing the name of the category. I will use Australia and New Zealand instead of Oceania, and I will add the name right here. Now, below the name, you can enter a slug. What you enter here is how the category will show up as part of your URL. So if we enter Australia and New Zealand with hyphens in between, in lowercase, the URL for every post in this category will be everydayimtraveling.com/Australia and New Zealand, and then the post name. Remember, we already discussed editing permalinks. Let's quickly go back to the permalink screen, which I have open here. The slug I mentioned will only work if you've added the category value in the permalink settings. If you're using the default settings, the slug will not work. Let's go back, and we see here that under the slug, there's the parent category setting. Because this page has no parent, we'll leave that untouched for now, but we will see how to add a parent category soon. Below the parent category is the description. The description may be shown on category archive pages in certain themes. But honestly, many themes don't have this setting. The default WordPress theme we are working with in this course, for example, doesn't. Check for yourself what happens when entering a description and whether you will find it useful. If you don't, you can just leave this field empty. Now, when you're done filling all this in, you click Add New Category, and you will see the category show up in the overview on the right. Now, Australia and New Zealand is one big category, so let's divide that into two child categories. We will add the child category in the same way as we did the parent category. We add a name, Australia here, the slug, and here in parent category, we choose Australia and New Zealand as the parent category. And then we just click the Add button. And you'll see that in the overview on the right, Australia is filed under Australia and New Zealand, with a line in front of the name to indicate that it is part of the parent category. And I will go through the same steps for New Zealand quickly. Now, in the overview here, there are also some other options. If you hover over a category with the mouse, you see that you can edit a category by clicking the Edit link, and you'll get the same menu you see on the left, just on a different screen. Let's go back to the overview, where I will hover the mouse once again to reveal the other options, and I see that there is also an option to Quick Edit, and you see that I am now able to change the name and the slug only. You can also delete a category, and if you click on the View link, you will be taken to the category archive page. We will check that out a bit later. Here, you can see the description and the number of posts under a specific category. If you find this distracting, you can turn them off using the screen options at the top of the page, right here, and untick the boxes of the options you don't want to see anymore. In addition, if you'd like to convert some of your categories to tags, you can speed up this task using a little tool if you click on the link here. Note that the page you land on isn't the tool. You'll first have to install the converter here. Once it's installed, you can convert categories to tags and vice versa. This may be handy and a real time saver if you're revising your site structure and you think that some of the categories you have work better as tags, or the other way around. Let's now move on to the tags page. Here, there's not really a lot to say. It works quite the same as categories, only you can't assign parent tags because tags are not hierarchical. Let's add a new tag to see how it works. For example, I add the tag adventure. I will add the name, the slug, and I will click here. And the tag is now added, and I can see it in the overview. What's left now is to add some posts to a category and to tag them with some tags. We will do that by selecting a post from the post screen and click on it. And now we will use the sidebar at the right side of the screen. Here we see the categories and tag settings, and I get an overview of all the categories and tags I've set up. Don't forget, you can add posts to multiple categories. Istanbul, for example, is partly located in Europe and Asia, so any posts about it should be added to both categories, plus Central and Eastern Europe, plus Western Asia. To confirm your settings, it is just a matter of ticking the boxes and updating the post at the top of the page. Now, to organize your pages, you need to do something slightly different. Let's go to the Pages screen to see how that works. I select the page, and here you also go to the sidebar, but you won't see categories and tags. Here, you'll just see the option to assign a parent page to the page you're currently editing under Page Attributes. So simply select the page you want the page you're on to fall under, and your hierarchy will be set. As we mentioned in the video, you'll also create an archive page every time you create a category or tag and add posts to that category or tag. On these archive pages, you'll get an overview of all the posts within that category or tag. I will go back to the categories now to show you this. Here we are. Now check out this archive page, for example, for the Central and Eastern Europe category. In the standard 2019 theme, there's really nothing you can do to optimize these pages without diving into code. In certain other themes, you can use the description field we mentioned earlier to spice up these pages. By editing a category, you can customize the text and add images and links, for example. Some themes give you even more freedom to customize archive pages. So picking a theme that allows you to do what you want to do is really very important here. Now that I've got my categories and tags set up, I want to add some categories in the side menu. To do this, go to Appearance, then Menus. Here, you can create a menu. The most intuitive way of doing it is by clicking the Manage with Live Preview option at the top of the page. That will take us to the customizer that we already discussed in a previous module. In this screen, it's very easy to see what you're doing. If you don't have any menus yet, you'll first have to create one, give it a name, and decide where it should appear. We already have a menu here called Menu. Now, let's add some menu items, our most important categories. I will click on Add Items here, and as you can see, you can automatically select between your pages, posts, categories, and tags. Let's select some categories. For example, I will add Africa and Asia. All I need to do is click on the cross here, and the category will be added. You can also see how these appear in the menu at the right side of the screen. To save the category in the menu as it appears here, click Publish, and it's done. Now, you can create additional menus as well. What options are available to you depends on your theme. In 2019, you can add a footer menu and a social links menu. The footer menu appears at the bottom, and the social links menu appears under the top menu by default. In 2017, for example, you can add a social links menu that shows up at the bottom of your site by default. Below, you can tick a box to make sure that the new top-level pages are automatically added to the menu. This means that anytime you create a page with no parent, so this is not a child page to another page, it will show up in your menu. I'd advise you not to tick this box and add pages to the menu yourself, and in that way you will have full control. So, we have reached the end of the screencast. And in it, we went over how to add categories and tags, how to couple them with posts, and how to add categories to a menu. You can now get to work and create your own website structure.